It's still hard to believe that David Bowie is no longer with us. He's been such a defining part of popular culture from the 1960s onwards that we often took for granted he'd be somewhere in the world writing music, producing his art, and making public appearances to share his words of wisdom and witty thoughts. As a Bowie fan, you certainly don't have to choose a favourite decade, but it is fun to take a look back and discover the varying periods and stunning work he produced. His first television appearance was as Davy Jones, a young 17-year-old interviewed on the BBC to discuss the trend for men wearing long hair. He certainly had something to say about that.
Well, I think we're all fairly tolerant, but for the last 2 years we've had comments like darling and can I carry a handbag thrown at us. And I think it's just had to stop now.
He was a member of several bands throughout the early part of the decade, including the King Bees, the Conrads, and Davy Jones in the lower third, but commercial success was hard to come by. He also released singles as a solo artist, but again, the hits were elusive. It won't surprise Monkees fans to know that Manchester's own Davy Jones becoming a global superstar meant that up-and-coming Davy Jones needed a name change, and David Bowie was born in 1966. The 1960s was a decade of extreme creativity, and David enjoyed exploring many styles of music. One of his influences was Anthony Newley, and he recorded the Laughing Gnome in a Newley style. A song which many find jarring in the Bowie back catalogue, while others enjoy it in the light and humorous style it was intended, as a novelty track. Although it wasn't an immediate hit upon its initial release, he ended the decade with a strong flavour of what was in store with the epic, moving Space Oddity.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade.
Ask a wide variety of early 80s pop stars who influenced them, and they'll say early 70s Bowie, specifically his character Ziggy Stardust and the Top of the Pops Starman performance, where he places his arm over Mick Ronson's shoulder as they sing together and create an iconic musical moment.
There's a starman waiting in the sky. Told us not to blow.
2-in-1 performance is typically Bowie, and the moment when he points down the camera lens to tell you he picked on you is also etched in the minds of many watching that evening, absorbing the lyrics and adoring their icon.
I had to phone someone, so I picked on you.
It was a big decade for collaboration, and he thrived on sharing songs, creating characters, and travelling to widen his musical horizons. He wrote and produced The Man Who Sold the World for Lulu,
The man who sold the world.
co-wrote Fame with John Lennon, and wrote All the Young Dudes for Mott the Hoople, to name just a few. He famously loved an image from a Vogue photo shoot with Twiggy so much that he requested it for the cover of his 1973 album, Pin-Ups.
Beside herself, because everyone was so happy with the shot.
Yeah.
While they were arguing, David just said, listen, let them get on with it. I'll put it on the cover of the thing he was recording in Paris.
Right.
Pin-ups.
Yeah.
The characters he created include Ziggy Stardust, who he refers to as an alien rock star, Aladdin Sane, a lad insane, also referred to as Ziggy Goes to America, and the Thin White Duke, described as a mad aristocrat and a period that Bowie latterly referred to as the darkest time of his life.
British view of American street energy. So Ziggy was, for me, a very simplistic thing.
In the latter part of the 70s, he worked hard to overcome his addictions, moved to Berlin with Iggy Pop, and went on to create the iconic Berlin trilogy of albums. He always saw the creative value in music videos and was an early supporter of MTV. You only need to look back at videos such as Life on Mars in the 70s to understand that Bowie would not need to have been talked into creating video clips for the decade to come. New romantics in London were treated to Bowie nights at Billy's and the Blitz Club, and famous Blitz kids include Boy George, Spandau Ballet, Marilyn, Rusty Egan and Steve Strange. In 1980, David visited the Blitz in person to recruit Blitz kids for his latest music video, Ashes to Ashes. The place went wild. Billy Idol has said that he introduced Nile Rodgers to David Bowie in the early 80s when Billy and Nile were partying in New York and they encountered David that night. This eventually led to a very successful collaborative partnership, with Nile producing mega hits such as Let's Dance, Modern Love and China Girl. Nile has discussed how he took the original version of Let's Dance from a folk song to a dance track in the clever way that only Nile can.
We wound up working together on another 5 projects over the course of our careers, but it was that Let's Dance session that changed everything.
When Live Aid took place in July 1985, David was fully supportive of the cause. Status Quo might have started the show in amazing style, and David instinctively knew when to stop it and remind the audience of exactly why we were watching.
And everybody out there that sent money in, you're the real heroes, really, because it's easy for me to go out there and sing some songs, much harder for you to give money and not be recognised. Good on you.
David and Mick Jagger also recorded Dancing in the Street at this time, and it may not have been their finest musical hour, but they certainly had a lot of fun. And you know when you're parodied on primetime comedy shows, you're doing something right.
Laughing and singing and music swinging, dancing in the street.
The 80s were Bowie's height of commercial success, and his film career remained an important creative outlet, with Labyrinth and Absolute Beginners both becoming cult classics, not immediate hits. The music Bowie produced alongside the films was, as expected, very well received.
And one of the most innovative forces in modern entertainment, David Bowie.
He formed Tin Machine towards the end of the decade and used this to explore music with a harder rock edge, which would realistically mean less commercial appeal.
Has it been more fun being on tour with a band than when previously you've been on your own?
I wouldn't say that you tour for fun. I think I got over that probably about 1973, 1974. I think fun doesn't come into touring at all for me. I think it's hideously boring. I think the playing makes it worthwhile.
In 1991, Vanilla Ice sampled Under Pressure, the Queen and Bowie 1981 hit. It was a global smash and introduced a younger audience to the original, many of whom were hearing the sample for the first time. There are isolated vocal tracks available online that show just how powerful Freddie and David's voices were.
Terror of knowing what this world is about. Watching some good friends screaming, let me out.
When Queen staged the Freddie Mercury tribute concert in 1992, David sang Under Pressure with Annie Lennox as stunningly as he had with Freddie back in 81. This performance, alongside George Michael's, is often cited as a highlight of the night. In the mid-90s, he explored making albums with drum and bass and jungle influences and released an album connected to the acclaimed BBC drama The Buddha of Suburbia. He collaborated with the Pet Shop Boys in 1996 on Hello Space Boy, reaching number 12 in the UK chart in February 96. Major Tom gets another mention in this track, something that Neil Tennant refers to as the Major Tom trilogy. Many feel that David had a powerful gut instinct for predicting where we were going and what trends were developing. A perfect example being his thoughts on the internet back in 1999.
Unimaginable. I think we're actually on the cusp of something exhilarating and terrifying.
David Bowie's career could fill endless documentaries, and this is just a taster of some of his decades. Let's finish with the joy of the collaboration with Ricky Gervais in Extras, possibly his best.
The little fast man with the pot-nosed face.